So you all are still living together?
Because he won't leave.
Because I have children, and I am as well.
Leave. He needs to go.
But it hurts my children.
I am miserable as hell. 8 years. I'm tired of this.
But wait, you can also have your own house and have your children in your own house.
Say that again, Your Honor.
Well, you say it's impossible you can be her daughter's father, but from what you just described, it sounds like it is possible you could be her daughter's father.
Let me show you something here.
You brought some evidence?
Oh, I got some evidence. You know why? Because I practice safe sex.
Oh.
That's why it's impossible.
Oh, you're saying that you use protection?
Yes, I use protection.
This case begins with Ms. Lever telling the judge that she wants her stay-in lover to move out of her house because she knows he is not the father of her child. Mr. Brown, who happens to be the stay-in lover, claims that he knows he is the father of the child, and the results from the DNA test will prove that he is. Well, here is how it all begins.
You say you have always believed you were the biological father of the defendant's daughter, Jaira Lever. You have loved her and taken care of her, but now the defendant is denying you are Jaira's dad. You are hoping today's results prove your case. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
I can't be the only one who saw that. Mr. Brown begins by talking about how has been in the child's life, claiming to have clothed her and done everything a father would do for his child. While he says all of this, Ms. Lever's facial expression gives a different story. Could he be lying?
He is not biologically her father. During the time that she was conceived, he wasn't really even around, and I had been with my ex. I just know.
So did you allow him to believe he was her biological father?
No. I always told Mr. Brown that he was not her father.
Wow, if that actually happened, that's honestly all shades of crazy for real. Mr. Brown says that Ms. Lever never told him she was pregnant. She found out from a mutual friend. What's even more shocking is that Ms. Lever claims she always told Mr. Lever that he was not the father of the child.
Mentioned that I had been away, okay? But I do environmental work. And so I'm gone maybe 3 to 4 weeks, and then I'm home for a week. But during the time that I'm home, Ms. Lever and I were inseparable. You know, we did everything together. Even if it was just...
Mr. Brown definitely doesn't live on planet Earth. He says that he did everything with Ms. Lever whenever he was around and not working. Hello? What then happens when he is not around? I mean, it does not take anything to bring in another man to the house. Wow.
Can I go to the board so I can show you?
You brought an exhibit?
Yes, ma'am.
Please step over to the exhibit and explain.
Okay, so during the time that Jaira was conceived, I was dealing with a family crisis. Also, my ex was also dealing with the same crisis. And so during that time, we bonded and we kind of rekindled things, and that's the time in which...
Aha, that has to be the funniest thing I've ever heard. They actually had sex at the hospital? Man, that is just hilarious. In her defense, she says that Mr. Brown was never around to satisfy her needs, and during that time she made up with her ex, and they ended up kicking it in bed.
July, I was at home. Miss Lever and I also were intimate July 4th in our home by the back door.
Oh my God.
No, let me explain. We were outside, it's 4th of July. My children, our children.
It looks like Ms. Lever is not the quiet woman we think she is. She might have tears in her eyes, but she sure knows how to get down in the other room. Mr. Brown tells the judge that he remembers having sex with Ms. Lever the same day she claims to have slept with her ex.
From day one, this has been a mess. And I told Mr. Brown that he was not her father because, like, this is my ex, you know? And when I end up getting pregnant, I felt like it was my right to tell him so that he can move forward.
Apparently, Ms. Lever claims to have known from the very beginning that Mr. Brown was not the father of her child. She says she did not want to hurt his feelings, and all she wanted to do was be sincere with him. Mr. Brown just wasn't ready to believe the child did not belong to him.
Say that, but that is not her name.
So you do say that?
We say it inside the home. I'm dealing with a master manipulator.
Wow, I'm a manipulator, but yet you allow me to take care of...
You know, for two people who seem to not love each other anymore, they sure love to mess around and do the freakiest things. Now, I wish I had a woman like Ms. Lever. Oh well, another shocking thing is that they have another child together.
Financially, I do come up a little light.
Come up a little,
okay?
all the way.
But if you remove the finances, I take care of those children, I pray with those children, I help those children with their homework, I bathe those children, I get the children dressed.
Mr. Brown seems to be a sweet man. He tells the judge that he has built a sweet relationship with their other daughter, but the bond is not as strong as that of the child he believes to be his. At least there's evidence that he actually takes care of the kids.
And so wait a minute. As I look at this birth certificate, Genesis Summer Lyric Brown, Genesis, his last name.
Yes, ma'am. As I believe that he is her father, but it is a possible doubt. I was with someone else during the time.
Someone's.
No, boy, bye, you full of... So why you want to be with me then?
Because I love you.
Man, Ms. Lever sure seems to really want this man out of her house. But does Mr. Brown really love her, or does he actually not have anywhere to go? I mean, he did say he isn't at his best when it comes to finances. But how can you love someone who has been with her ex and another man?
Right of the house being in the house.
No, there is. But you can also have your own house and have your children in your own house.
Say that again, Your Honor.
I could have done that.
I mean, look, I'm just saying this is a very odd situation because you are bound to...
I mean, what else does he want to hear? He can love his kids from a different home. Why does he have to stay in the house? Well, we've clearly heard enough from these two. Let's see what the DNA results have to say about their yapping.
Mr. Brown, you are not the father. This is overwhelming. Ms. Lever, what is it you're feeling in this moment?
My daughter has a bond with him. She loves him. They love him.
Mr. Williams is in court for the funniest reason. He claims that he knew the defendant, Ms. Smith, 24 years ago when everyone knew her as the party girl of the town. He claims that he is angry at the fact that she claims he is the father of her child after they hooked up only once. Ms. Smith claims that when she told him, he ignored the truth. Here's how the case begins.
Mr. Williams, you say you knew Ms. Smith 24 years ago when she was a promiscuous party girl. You are furious that after a chance meeting 20 years later, she is now claiming you fathered her adult daughter, Alexis.
It always starts with a party, then drinks, and then they kick it in bed. Mr. Williams claims that he and Ms. Smith were never in an actual relationship. For him, it was just fun, and there was nothing serious attached to it.
Evidence?
Oh, I got some evidence. I
Okay.
got some evidence. You know why? Because I practice safe sex.
Oh.
That's why it's impossible.
Oh,
That's why
you're
it's
saying that
impossible.
you use protection
Yes, I use protection.
when you slept with her.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
All right, so that's good. So now,
Just
Ms.
say sex.
Smith,
Hold the phone, because what did she just say? She says she was in another relationship when she and Mr. Williams kicked it in VD. Wow. She even goes on to say that when they had sex, there was no form of protection involved. Mr. Williams remembers things differently.
She was up with some of my friends of mine, partying. She, like I said, a party girl. And they
3 years ago, still partying?
3 years ago, I
Still
was not partying 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I was in the church shouting, changed my life and everything.
Still
so I don't
partying.
know what he do. No, I don't.
Still partying. She may not now, but that's how I found out about the baby.
Oh, you have got to be kidding me. She went by the name Gin and Juice back in the day? She must have really been the life of the party for real. Anyway, Mr. Williams says that she never told him she was pregnant. He found out she was pregnant from one of his friends just 3 years ago.
Then we saw each other on the bus at that time. This was around about that time too. And she was telling me that your daughter want to talk to you or something like that. I said, what you mean my daughter want to talk to me? Who is you talking about? I'm still trying to figure out who is she talking about. I still didn't know no name or nothing.
It doesn't matter if it's once or twice. He admits to seeing Ms. Smith's daughter. That right there changes everything. He claims he knows he did not father her daughter. If that's the case, why did he go to see her when she asked him to? Something doesn't add up.
You were ever told that Mr. Williams was your biological father?
Besides the day that they seen each other on the bus.
Until then, you had never known Mr. Williams was your biological
I
father?
only heard his name one time.
In your life?
Yes, ma'am.
Who did you think your father was?
Man, you can tell she was really excited to meet Mr. Williams. Look at how she smiles when Judge Lauren asks her about the day she met him. It just really breaks her heart to hear Mr. Williams say there is no chance on earth he can be her biological father.
I was coming home from work and my mama told me that my daddy wanted to see me and talk to me. And I said, okay. When I got there, he was already there. We hugged, we talked, laughed a little bit. We had dinner. Not one time did he say he wasn't my father.
So you felt like in that moment your daddy had come to visit you.
Oh, come on, Mr. Williams. You can't be serious with that statement. He says that he was sweet to Alexis the day he visited because he did not want to hurt her feelings. Well, he is definitely hurting her feelings right now by saying it to her face. I mean, she felt like her dad had come home after such a long time. That's just sad.
I want to know from you, why did it take you 21 years to tell your daughter who
what I
your
wanna
father
know.
was?
Me and her talked, and I told her, I say, it's a possible this person might be your dad or this one.
It must be that one.
When did you tell her this?
I told Lexi that she was young. I talked to her, then I just let it went by.
Haha. And there goes another truth bomb. Ms. Smith tells the judge that there is a chance that there might be another man in play who could also be a potential father to her daughter. At this point, are we to expect more truth bombs?
Just one more.
There you go. We need to get to the bottom of this and find out if it's my child or not, which I know it's not my child. Not my child for the simple fact. What woman in their right mind waits 21 years and then brings something up like this lady? That's foolish, that's ludicrous.
I can't be any happier. Judge Lauren told her the truth to her face. She had 20 years to tell her daughter the truth, and she just went off with saying there's a chance she might have two men who could be her dad. In my books, that's bad parenting.
Do you believe Alex is your biological sister, that you share a father?
No.
I do.
Look at the two of them. Look at the two of them. They don't even look alike.
So I do believe that Alexis is my sister. We look just alike. We act alike. We have
Ain't back
the
that
same
crazy.
personalities. Like,
Mr. Williams is sure not going to like what she just said. Ms. Williams, who happens to be Mr. Williams' daughter, walks into the courtroom and tells the judge that she knows for a fact that Alexis is her sister, and Mr. Williams is definitely her father.
Like I said, she's not my child, and that's the bottom line.
You can look at the photos and tell there's something there, something.
yeah.
You see the cheekbones, the
And
eyes.
so, why do you think
Your
your
mama got
dad
cheekbones.
does not believe
Well,
Alexis is his biological daughter?
due to
At least one beautiful thing we can't deny is the fact that Alexis and Ms. Smith have built a bond like no other. You'd honestly think they are sisters if you met them for the first time. Well, let's see if the results are going to allow them to remain sisters.
Mr. Williams,
Yes, ma'am.
you are not the father.
There you go. I rest my case, Your Honor. Look out.
You are not the father.
Can I give her a hug?
If she will allow you.
Look out. I'm sorry, but hey, it's out of my hands now. Only God can help.
Your Honor, I know who her father is.
This case is going to blow your mind, and there is no doubt about that. Ms. Ramos appears in court to prove that her ex-fiancé is the father of their baby. The ex-fiancé, Mr. Edwards, on the other hand, says she changed her due dates just so she could make him the father.
Ms. Ramos, you are in court to prove that your ex-fiancé, Mr. Edwards, fathered your 1-month-old son, Xavier. You claim that after sharing your news that you were pregnant with his baby, women he was secretly cheating with started coming out of the woodwork.
Did she just say she is not the only one? Yo, that's just crazy. What even surprises me the most is the fact that she said different women walk up to her and tell her that he is not the father of her child. I'm sure she doesn't trust him at all.
But then that's when he started doing the cheating from the whole time. And yes, I did have sex with an ex of mine, but that was after the fact. Me and him wasn't even actually in a relationship. Like, we were
Wait a minute.
in the beginning, like,
You all are in a relationship.
it was really not that serious in the beginning.
Wow, looks like Ms. Ramos was no saint after all. She claims that things were not serious between her and Mr. Edwards, which resulted in her sleeping with her ex. But in her story, things got very serious when she conceived her baby. There are so many loopholes in her story.
Well, at the beginning, when she was at least like a month pregnant, that's when she had slept with a relative of mine.
I disagree. It's not even a blood relative. First of all, it was all through marriage. So I don't even.
So it's a family member of his.
Ms. Ramos cannot be serious right now. She just admitted to sleeping with one of his family members when she was just a month pregnant. Wow. In her defense, she says that she only slept with him because she knew they were not on good terms. Well, hello. That doesn't change the fact that he is a family member.
Issues, and I ended up eventually moving in her apartment. Now, the relative of mine is the person that she slept with when she was about a month pregnant. Her story was that she was asleep and he was...
What on earth is wrong with this woman? First, she admits to sleeping with Mr. Edwards' cousin. Now she's telling the judge that she wasn't fully aware it was happening. I mean, Can you have sex with someone and not be aware it's happening? Lady, just tell the truth.
Was intimate with this person, that led you to believe she had been intimate with this person before?
It's just too many times where she slept with people. Then the one time, she had texted my phone and said that she had another confession. She wanted me to meet her at the grocery store. So I met her at the grocery store. As I'm approaching, she was, looking in the freezer and stuff.
Just like Judge Lauren, I cannot hide my disgust right now. Aside from sleeping with her ex, she says that she slept with another man and caught 2 sexually transmitted diseases. All this happened with a baby in her womb. I mean, what was she thinking?
We both decided that we wanted to have a complete family. He asked me to marry him.
So after all this, Mr. Edwards, you agreed to marry Ms. Ramos? You asked her to marry you?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Okay, because you felt like you really wanted to try to make it work?
Yes, with the child, in play and things that I've been through in my life, I wanted to, show a difference, be something, better than my mother, my father was.
I mean, he kind of has every right to feel that way. There is no way on earth she is going to do all the things she did and expect that he would just overlook them and not doubt the paternity of her child. What's even surprising is that he asked her to marry her. I wonder why.
Mr. Edwards, you look pretty happy.
He looks just like him. That's what hurt. That's what.
And Ms. Ramos, this upsets you.
Yes, it hurt. It upsets me bad. It upsets me very bad.
Jerome, I want you to give Mr. Edwards a close-up look at this picture. Matter of fact, send him this one too. Mr. Edwards, I'm looking at these pictures presented to the court. Sure. That doesn't look like a look of doubt.
I'm siding with the judge on that one. Mr. Edward actually looks like a happy father in that picture. One would honestly think he had been waiting to have that baby for a really long time. But still, Ms. Ramos's actions would make any man doubt he is the father of the baby.
So he didn't sign the birth certificate, but you still gave Xavier his last name?
Because him and his father told me to give him his last name. They were both there.
I did tell her to give the child my last name.
If you still feel like that's a doubt for the baby, then why, again, want me to put your last name? You could have still continued to say, hey, put your last name, put your last name, put your last name until we figure it out.
Judge Lauren has a point there. Mr. Edwards did everything right. From the moment he found out she was pregnant till the moment the baby came into the world. He played the role of a father, but if he didn't trust her, why didn't he back out from the beginning?
When he said she was pregnant, it was already a rumor going around that she was pregnant before they started talking by somebody else.
Disagree.
Everybody knew about it.
Well, that's because everybody's always making up lies because nobody likes me.
Before I even seen you, I knew about you. Everybody was talking about you.
Okay.
So who is this girl that's sleeping with everybody?
This has got to be the most complicated situation I have ever seen in this courtroom. Even Mr. Edwards' witness says that she knew Ms. Ramos was sleeping about before she got into a relationship with Mr. Edward. Well, let's see if the results can bring an end to this disaster. In this situation,
Mr. Edwards, you are the father.
Thank you. I want you to apologize to our son. I want you to apologize to him because I told you since day one.
How do you feel in this moment, Mr. Edwards?
I'm afraid.
Why are you afraid?
I just don't feel like she's gonna allow me to be in his life, that's all.
Your Honor, it's not the point that I want to take the baby out of his life, but he already know the lifestyle that he has.
Mr. Walls claimed to have been away for a while, and when he got back, he saw the defendant, Ms. Walker, having some funny business with another man. He claimed that she was a serial cheater, and he was certain he was not the father of the child. This was how he opened his case.
Mr. Walls, you say that after spending a short time away from Ms. Walker, you caught her with someone else's hands in her cookie jar.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you say Ms. Walker is a serial cheater and there is no way you are her child's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
It looks like the long wait to get her number was worth it after all. In no time, things got very romantic between them. They started spending time together and going on dates.
So we started going out there, spending time by the water. I felt it was romantic, And
so, Ms. Walker?
Yes, Your Honor.
He seemed like he was a gentleman courting you. You went out with him?
Yes, Your Honor.
It was a good relationship at first?
It was good in the beginning until I found out I was pregnant. And when I found out I was pregnant, I told him, but he talked about he wanted a DNA test.
I knew we were about to get to the bad part, but was he really a family member, Ms. Walker? Well, we are going to find out. The funny thing about this couple was that even though they had a very lovely time together, they never got into an actual relationship.
Okay, that took too long. So it was not a relationship. So you all were having sex
Yeah.
without protection.
pretty much.
But not in a relationship. So when she told you she was pregnant and it was your child, you had doubt?
Yeah.
Your Honor, when I told him I was pregnant, and he had said, well, I need to take a DNA test because he said he didn't trust me.
But she admitted to cheating, though. Because when I was gone for them 30 days, she admitted to cheating.
Did you admit to cheating?
No, Your Honor.
I asked her.
Did she just admit to cheating? Wow. If I were in his shoes, I would probably have doubts about the baby as well. As if that was not enough, Mr. Walls went on to talk about a situation where he actually caught Ms. Walker in another man's car. This was how he began the story.
I goes all the way back around the corner, come back, slow down. I look like, no, that don't look like Dominique in that car. Like, that ain't Ms. Walker, like, no. So I said, forget it, I drive on around again. I'm on around
You on your third lap?
Yeah, I'm on my third lap now. I'm doing a Hollywood stop now, like, yeah, that's her. That's her in the car. And then I confronted her about that. I said, you supposed to be pregnant with my baby.
Aha, you've been caught, Ms. Walker. If indeed she was pregnant and the baby belonged to Mr. Wills, she had no right to do anything with another guy. Moving on, Mr. Wills was not done listening to the scenarios he witnessed, which made him doubt the baby.
I call her phone, she'll say she at home. I go to her house, knock on the door, her mama come downstairs and say, Dominique not here. Dominique went over her god sister's house. I just talked to Dominique, she said she was home. This happens a couple of times.
No,
my
you
gosh,
Honor.
I wish your mama was here.
Because we're gonna start from the time he said he was living with his baby mama. He was telling me that he gonna promise to leave her.
That explains why they couldn't get into a proper relationship. They can't even make a complete sentence without yelling at each other. Again, Mr. Wills went on to explain that with his other 5 kids, he had pregnancy symptoms, but with Ms. Walker's child, he never felt any such symptoms.
All my other kids, I had symptoms. You know what I'm saying? I woke up, I'm feeling like I'm puking up a little bit. I'm feeling a little nauseous. And with her pregnancy, I had none of that.
How many other kids do you have?
I got 5 other kids.
Okay. You had pregnancy symptoms with all 5?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow, it looks like he wasn't lying after all. The funny feeling is actually a real thing. Could that mean the baby does not belong to him? Well, the DNA results are about to reveal just that, and we will know if Ms. Walker has been lying all this while.
Mr. Walls, you are not her father. Ms. Walker, I gave you an opportunity. At least 5.
Well, I apologize. I'm sorry.
3 years. 3 years. Do you know who her father is? Was it the guy in the car?
No.
Why not just be honest?
Because I was scared.
See, I'll take honesty any day.
She had sex with his best friend and multiple men. At least this is what Mr. Gonzalez argues today in court. Ms. Salvo and Mr. Gonzalez were a match made in heaven, or so they thought. But today, these two cannot seem to agree on a single thing.
Your Honor, I can't stand him. He knows Amaiya's his daughter, but he refuses to take care of him. I've never, ever had sex with any Hispanic man but him. I prefer black people. I don't like Hispanic men. I was intoxicated at the time. I was drunk, he came over, he got me at the right time.
What an interesting revelation from her very first retort in court. She does not like Hispanic men? I see. Oh, Miss Salvo, nobody asked it about your sexual preference. If you're so particular about Hispanic men, explain the Hispanic baby in court right now. You were drunk, huh?
And now, Miss Salvo, you claim that this testimony is false. It's incorrect.
Yes, Your Honor. The whole part 6 times, that's ridiculous. It wasn't even good, so why would I keep going?
So you had sex with Mr. Gonzalez 1 time?
Yes.
The sex was protected or not?
It wasn't.
What a woman. She is right, though. It takes just 1 time. Now, here's the question. Who's lying between them? Is it Mr. Gonzalez with his 6-time count, or Ms. Salvo with his 1-time hit? Regardless of what it is, someone is definitely going to have a mountain of regret.
Is that the only reason you excluded your ex-boyfriend? Amaiya looked Hispanic and not black?
She looks way too much. The dimple, she has 1 dimple just like he does. That's him. Her nose, I have a picture that I can show you. They're just...
Well, would you look at that? Every single time. One person in court always feels entitled to the semblance card. If Ms. Salvo thinks her baby belongs to Mr. Gonzalez simply because she looks like him, she really has no valid point, especially after having sex with other men. Who's to say that her ex-boyfriend does not have Hispanic ancestry?
My doubts is I took my best best friend over there to her house. I get in the car with my best friend. He tells me, I'm sorry, Julio, but I gotta show you something. He showed me naked pictures of Ashley like this.
Whoa. She did what? Now, why was Mr. Gonzalez's friend at her house? Moreso, how do the pictures exist if Ms. Salvo never takes naked pictures like she said? These pictures are suggestive, and Mr. Gonzalez has nothing to gain from lying about them. Now, again, who is lying between these two?
I was a kid at that time. I conceived my daughter at 18.
So you had grown up that year?
I wasn't grown up.
Whoa, let's get one thing straight first. She was pregnant with her baby when she was what? The amount of teenage pregnancies on paternity court is absolutely alarming. Also, Ms. Salvo is admitting to being promiscuous. Now all that is left is to figure out which of them is lying.
He looking mad at me like he wanna fight me or something. Yo, I asked Ashley, why that guy so mad at me? Why he looked like he wanna fight me? Oh, cause he wanted to be the baby daddy, but I told him you're the baby daddy.
Was that your response to that question, Ms. Salvo?
Your Honor, that boy's been obsessed with me since elementary school.
Oh my goodness. What are these stories about different men coming up at various intervals? Why is a random man from her elementary school coming into her life right now? If truly it was elementary school, why then did he want a baby by you? Damn. Oh, what a woman. Bless her dear soul. She did all of that for the baby amidst the thick fog of doubt in the air that the baby may not be her son's. It really helps nobody when one person says one thing and the other person claims another story. Now that all of the fog is gone, we simply cannot wait to get the results.
And you do have a relationship with the child. And if she is your biological child,
I would like to have weekends.
You're going to step up to the plate?
Yes, ma'am.
And do what needs to be done to care for this beautiful little girl?
Yes, Your Honor.
What a guy. Now we get to find out whose story holds water. From Ms. Salvo denying all the cheating allegations to Mr. Gonzalez, claiming that his fiancé slept with 1 million men and some. Who made the mistake, and who is going to regret their silly decisions?
Mr. Gonzalez, it has been determined by this court that you are not the father.
Can I still come around and see Amaiya and help her out if I can? She's still gonna be my daughter. And I told her that before she came in the show.
This is one messy situation you will never forget. Trust me, Ms. Bargy found herself in the middle of two men, her husband and her ex-boyfriend. The crazy thing about this situation was that both men believed they were the father of Ms. Bargy's baby, and she had no idea who the father was. She started her case by saying this.
Ms. Bargy, you and I spoke briefly in my chambers.
Yes, Your Honor.
You admit you cheated on your husband and now you are caught in a paternity triangle, with both men believing they fathered your 2-month-old daughter, McKenna.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are hoping today's DNA results prove that your husband is her father so you can save your marriage. Is this correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
At least she's not denying making a mistake, and the beautiful part is that she wants to find a way out. Judge Lauren, understanding the intensity of the situation, proceeds to ask her husband what type of bond he had built with the child.
Mr. Bargy?
Yes.
You've fallen in love with McKenna.
Yes.
Tell me about the relationship you have with her.
I could be at work for 10 to 12 hours a day. I take 5 minutes out of my time, busy or not at work, video call, sit here like that right there. I wake her up when I get home.
As you would expect, he loved the baby beyond words could explain. Aren't they just cute in that video? Anyway, Mr. Lawson, the ex-boyfriend, wasn't ready to give up his claim of being the father of the child, even after seeing Ms. Bargy's husband and the baby bond so well.
I believe I am because I was around. She was with me when she got pregnant. I was there for the whole pregnancy. I was there when McKenna was born.
Ms. Bargy, can you explain to the court how we got here?
I was having issues with my husband when I came back. We had been together for about a month.
It seems like the break from her marriage took a wild turn, and now she's paying for the consequences. Now, trust me, that's not all. When she found out she was pregnant, she told Mr. Lawson before her husband. Why? Because they were living together at the time. Jeez.
The day that I found out was the end of April. It was April the 27th. The whole month of April I was getting sick, and I took a pregnancy test, and then it came back that I was pregnant.
Who did you tell first?
I told my mother first, and me and Calvin had been living together.
Even Judge Lauren was disappointed to hear that. There was more disappointment coming her way. Bargy never mentioned the pregnancy to her husband. She claimed she didn't have the courage to confront him about it. But here's how he found out.
That you were pregnant pregnant and McKenna could be his child?
I did not tell my husband, period. He had a mutual friend that was on my Facebook, and they had actually sent him a picture of me posting an ultrasound, and then he started contacting me, and then finally I had to sit down with him and talk to him and tell him, okay, well, you know.
Wow. So she was sleeping with Mr. Lawson and her husband at the same time? That explains why they both feel they could be possible fathers of the baby. But the truth, bombs keep getting worse. Ms. Bargy went on to tell the judge that she found out that her husband was also sleeping with his ex.
Slept together one time, and that was due to the fact that he had spoken to one of my friends, and they had talked about actually being together. It was, my friend was one of his exes. His ex actually messaged me and was showing me messages that him and her were sleeping together when me and him.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Oh, I'm siding with Judge Lauren. That's one big mess. Unlike Ms. Bargy's husband, Mr. Lawson had no relationship with the child in question. He claimed that when he tried to be in the child's life several times, Ms. Bargy was evasive because she wanted her husband to be the father of the child.
Right now, I don't have a relationship because when Miss Bargy left, we have talked and tried to set up times for me to see her, but there is a lack of information.
You feel like she's being evasive.
Your Honor, I have given him plenty opportunities to see her. I've called him 3 and 4 days in advance and said, look.
Could Mr. Lawson be lying about trying to see her child? Who knows? Ms. Bargy made one thing clear to the judge. She claimed that if Mr. Lawson ended up being the father, she wouldn't want him anywhere near her child.
Mr. Lawson is McKenna's biological father. Have you thought about where you go from here?
If Mr. Lawson is her father, I do not want him to be a part of her life, period. Like, I want rights terminated because my daughter deserves so much better. My husband has been there and took care of her since all this has happened. He has been an amazing father.
She must really dislike Mr. Lawson. Well, it's time we reveal the DNA results and bring their paternity drama to an end. Let's see if Ms. Bargy's prayers are going to be answered.
Mr. Bargy or Mr. Lawson is the father of 2-month-old McKenna Bargy. It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Lawson. You are McKenna's biological father, Mr. Lawson.
That's okay. I'm still gonna raise her.